That's the best you've got after 18 months? So it's actually a whole lot worse than even I predicted. And that's saying something. Because you know when Netflix has a big new show and a couple of days before launch, they put out the sneak peek. You're meant to go, wow. Wow. Like they have just shown us the best moment from that show. So I'm going to immediately add this to my list. I'm immediately going to say that this is appointment to view. When it comes to With Love Meghan, I would argue, least anticipated TV series in history in terms of content, it was quite the opposite. It was like, what? That's the best you've got after 18 months? This was the start of the sneak peek.
This is about connecting with friends and just learning. Let's go.
Let's go. There's only one person who says that, Meghan. It's me on Outspoken. Then we see her interaction with the Korean chef, which let's just say looks like it's from a 5th grade acting school in California. Meghan is completely unable to show genuine emotions. There is zero connection between her and this man. She's faking it, folks. She's faking the person who she thinks the owner of a lifestyle brand should be. And trust me, it's not gonna work. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, with me now, Prince Harry's biographer. Wow. I mean, this is even worse, Angela, than I ever predicted.
All right, folks, grab your popcorn because Meghan Markle's Netflix disaster has officially begun. The sneak peek of With Love Meghan is here, and let me tell you, it's even worse than we thought. Netflix hyped this up like it was going to be the next big thing. But what did we get? A fake, painfully scripted, and completely soulless reality show. And then there's this scene, where Meghan talks to a Korean chef. And you can literally see her faking every single second of it. No real connection, no authenticity, just pure acting. Now here's the real tea. Netflix execs are worried. They know this show is doomed before it even airs. Nobody asked for this, nobody wants this, and now? Even Netflix is regretting it.
Yes, I mean, I always hope that there will be a little light, but it gets darker and darker, doesn't it? I mean, she is ludicrous what she says, you know, and most of it you can't make any sentence out of, really. I mean, what she says here, it's just sort of, you know, I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it, you see. Now, you know, I've never heard any sex nothing, rubbish, it doesn't mean anything. But actually, if you want to say that it would mean something, it's Harry, because that hasn't happened to him. He's gone down the pole, hasn't he? She could have helped him talk to his parents. He could have helped him learn how to not get so upset all the time, not to put things in his book that actually is going to ruin him, and let him have a life which is alongside of hers. But she doesn't, you know, something pretty ordinary and elevating it. I mean, I don't know anybody who would try to do that, but there we are. And then she said, I'm going to share some little tips and tricks. Well, I don't know that. I'm not a kid. I'm not 2. And it's just absurd, isn't it? And this is about connecting with friends. I love that we're doing this together for the first time, making new friends and just learning. I mean, it's so patronizing and rude. And there again, this is the worst one, next to Harry one, is we're not in the pursuit of perfection. We're in the pursuit of joy. So it doesn't matter if you
no
make
joy for the poor people
mess.
who have to work with her. The one that I found funny, Angela, was when she's talking to this Korean chef, Roy Choi, and the conversation is so anodyne and fake anyway, but he says to her, oh, sometimes I listen to speed metal and death metal when I'm cooking. And she puts on that face that we all know, and it's her face of pure anger. But in this case, it was literally just acting. And she says, "No, you don't. That doesn't sound like the joy of cooking." And I just thought, oh my goodness, is this the best interaction we're going to get on this show? And then it actually made me think on a much deeper level, Angela, and it made me realize the whole issue that Meghan Markle has is actually she is unable to connect with people. She doesn't care about other people. She never has. That's why she bullies all of the people who have desperately tried to help her. So unfortunately, she was maybe okay as an actress, right, on Suits, because she had to stick to a script. The problem is, as soon as she goes off script and tries to be herself, we see the real Meghan. And so actually, I think this show is going to be a disaster for her, because she's trying to have all of these nicey relationships with people, which we just know are not genuine.
And then we have royal biographer Angela Levin, who just completely destroys Meghan's fake persona. And honestly, she's spot on. Angela says Meghan is pretending to be some kind of elevated lifestyle guru, but she doesn't actually stand for anything. It's just empty words, meaningless branding, and zero personality. Really, Meghan? What exactly have you elevated? Because the only thing we've seen is Harry's downfall. Angela says it best. This is Meghan Markle trying to play a role. And guess what? She's not even good at it.
Can I just say, do you remember when she was talking to the chef? And he said, "I'd like to have this music, this awful music,
yes,
when I'm cutting meat."
Speed measuring,
as if he's going to sort of slice the world because of what he's actually singing. That music gets him really going, and I think she just didn't want him to say that either, frankly. But I think she has a big problem with people because she can't actually work out how she should be with them. I know there are other people who are just like that. They don't know what to say. They don't know how close to get. They don't know whether they should hug them or not, or whether they should actually find them again. But I think it's very difficult for certain people to get to know that. And I think she can't do that, because otherwise she wouldn't be in such a mess. I mean, she's in an absolute mess. And also, you have to learn as you grow up that you can't like everybody anyway. So you make sure that you don't upset them. You just keep away. And actually, this silly thing of getting incredibly excited that you're going to have friends round and you're going to have a drink, and she does a little dance on the floor. It's all absolutely absurd, because that's not going to what is going to make people think anything of her. I think she doesn't know how to.
No, you're right. And we got another dance, Angela, for the other preview that she posted on Instagram, which was again designed to show, oh, I'm just so fun behind the scenes. I get on really well with people. But of course, the difficulty that she has faced is that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, in the most classy and I guess low-key manner, Angela, has really made the point this week that what she is doing is revolting, is disgusting. The Sun has actually splashed on this as jar wars, because Catherine has made the point that she will give the public her plum jam recipe for free, in stark contrast to Meghan, who just wants to make money out of us for her crappy jam.
I know. I thought it was a brilliant thing that Catherine said. I'm not entirely sure that she meant it, but I hope she did, because there she's generous, and all those kids or teenagers would be absolutely delighted to have plum jam from this wonderful woman. Whereas Meghan is all about money, adding it up, getting very, very high fees for doing anything at all. And it doesn't work. I mean, people are not going to be taken under. I mean, she hasn't got a history of doing this properly. She's had the TIG, which was a very small thing, which not many people looked at. But I don't see why there's so many other people who've got doing this I don't see why they would want to spend any time with what she's saying or doing or suggesting, because she's not really experienced. She's just not. I don't. The question I'd like to say is, will she cook anything? And I bet you she doesn't. I mean, she'll flick things on it and have a little drink and make it look pretty. But actually, this is 2025 and people aren't that interested in that. If she cooked something amazing, then perhaps she would draw people to her. But this is not. This is just, it's like an advert, isn't it? Where they don't do anything, but they smile and everybody's happy. But I can't see many people wanting to see what she's doing because she doesn't have the history.
Now let's get real. Netflix didn't spend millions on this show for it to flop. But guess what? It's already happening. According to industry insiders, Netflix is quietly panicking because they know this show is a disaster. It has no real purpose, no audience, and worst of all, it's completely fake. And don't just take my word for it. Social media is already roasting this. People are calling it forced, boring, and a complete PR stunt. One user even said Meghan looks like she's reading off a teleprompter. I mean, where's the lie? Oh, Meghan, really?
There's so many now who've got history on it and choose exactly what they're doing and make something very special. But she's saying she's going to do something silly and then try and make it better. I mean, what's that all about?
Well, indeed. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. What I think has been interesting to me, though, Andrew, and this clip has gone viral this week, I want to play it to you and get your reaction. But Meghan Markle, during her TIG days, I think was much more honest about who she really was. This was a woman who used her lifestyle brand to get free things, to get access to celebrity events, to enhance her life. It wasn't about enhancing other people's lives. It was about enhancing her life. And this interview with Yahoo Style, which had gone under the radar for many years, but has come back just over the past few days because people are like, hang on a moment. Meghan's talking about the fact that she's trying to do a lifestyle brand to inspire people, but actually all she wanted to do was get an invite to New York Fashion Week. So let's have a watch, Andrew, and I'll get you to respond off the back. Oh, of course, I have to be here for Fashion Week, Angela. And in that moment, in that one moment, we see what it's really about for Meghan. It's never been about helping other people. It's been about helping herself.
Yes, well, she's been like that all the way through, hasn't she? It's always what will help her. And therefore, she expects that will please everybody else. That's a very peculiar way that she goes about things. But she does think that she's the one who's going to make them all very happy once she's happy. Well, life isn't like that, is it? Not at all. And actually, if we're going mad for the clothes, then it's just I can see what you're doing, dear, and take some away. She's very, very cunning, and she's very, very self-absorbed, and that's it. And that's why she finds it very easy to dump friends if they're not actually keeping up with her or doing exactly what she wants. She just dumps them and then goes on to someone else. And as you know, she's dumped one husband like that, sent back her engagement and wedding ring in an envelope. Poor man, he was quite surprised, but now he's fine. He's married and 2 babies. He must be very relieved. But it's just that she doesn't try and think about how someone else is doing or what they're doing. It has to be around her. And I think to go and talk, she was talking very, very quickly there. So it was obviously well practiced, and she didn't want anybody to break up her sentences. And that was the end of it. So they couldn't actually make it difficult. But she tries to be so shy and coy and sweet, but those 3 things she is not.
Angela, you have been doing some research into a part of the With Love Meghan where she is with bees, right? Bumblebees. And
Yes.
There's some suggestion that she may have actually faked this scene.
Yes.
Is that right?
This might be the most laughable line in the entire sneak peek. She says, "We're not in the pursuit of perfection, we're in the pursuit of joy." But let's be honest, there's no joy for the people who have to work with her. How many ex-staff members have said Meghan was a nightmare boss? How many times have we heard stories of her screaming at people? And now, she's here acting like she's some kind of positive lifestyle guru? Give me a break. Angela Levin nails it. This isn't about joy. It's about Meghan trying to sell herself as something she's not. And guess what? The public isn't falling for it. So here's the real question. Is this Meghan Markle's biggest career failure yet? Because right now, this looks like a total disaster. Netflix already pulled back on Harry and Meghan's deal after their first documentary flopped. Now, they're stuck with a show that nobody wants to watch. Social media is dragging this show. The press is mocking this show. Netflix? They're probably praying people forget about it before it even airs.
Yes,
you know?
I had somebody contact me this morning to say that actually she thinks the whole thing's a phony. The fact that she has no head protection was very difficult as well, very stupid. And she said, but then I realized there's no sign of any bees flying around here. No gloves. All the bees are still. They look as though they've been knocked out. No flying bees. I know smoking is used, but if that's successful here and there's no need for gloves, why has she got the suit all on? So she goes on like that. And, you know, why is the cameraman in full protection? Does he have to get close to hives to film active bees? I don't know, perhaps this is harvesting honey Californian style. However, if the bees are knocked out before harvesting, why any protection at all? Oh, she said this is a complete setup. I think the bees have been harvested and are not associated with any of these hives. There we are. It goes on quite a lot. And she said she's talked to various professional people around the bees, and they said, well, nobody would do what she's doing, trying to hold it without anything around her hands. But also, nobody would wear lots of gold jewelry when they have clothes that they have to cover their hands with, you know, because otherwise it would be very dangerous. And also, when you've got flappy things lower down, that the bees can go in and bite you. But it's, you know, people say that is not the way to collect any bees. I don't believe there's any there. So this is this woman who let me know that. And
wow, that's fascinating.
It looks ridiculous for somebody to go and get bees without any gloves on, grab them out. And you see a lot of them were just lying on the floor. Well, they weren't resting, were they? They were probably all killed, and it was just all pretense. And
well, of course, and Angela, look here, when Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was doing it, you can see the bees. Of course, she's got the protective gloves, and there's a lot of speculation that one of the only reasons Meghan actually did this anyway was because she was wanting to sort of get her own back on Catherine and prove, oh, I'm better with bees than you are, and it looks like it was a fake. Okay, well, look, we're going to keep track of that, Angela, of course, because you will be with me for the launch of With Love Meghan on Tuesday. Can I just ask you, though, about this new plan that Meghan has? Sorry, I just laugh because it's so ridiculous now. The latest is that she also wants to sell cookie mix, cake mix, and pancake mix. Like, why? But okay.
It makes you feel sick, doesn't it? I mean, who would want that pancake? Oh, you know, that you just come out from the container and you pour it onto something and nothing. But she thinks that's really, really interesting and very exciting. And that's a way of actually getting loads of people, because no one else has done that. Well, I know why, because it sounds revolting. So why would you do that? It's this whole thing as she just wants to make things done for her, but actually are completely hopeless. Would you like something like that? Instant?
I mean, I just think this is desperation now. It's absolute desperation. She's going to cling to whatever product she thinks might work for her. At this stage, I actually doubt there's going to be anything available for launch on Tuesday. I mean, let's see. But none of the manufacturers know about it. So effectively, she's lost her opportunity and she's going to be launching a mailing list. That's it, which is such a wasted opportunity. But oh well, we will shed no tears for her.
At this point, this is just another failure in Meghan's long list of career disasters. Hollywood is moving on, Netflix is moving on, and the question is, when will SHE move on? Alright folks, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more no BS commentary, and let's get the conversation going. Do you think Meghan's Netflix show is doomed? Or could it somehow be a surprise hit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.